Welcome to Sausage on a Fork, a podcast dedicated to the UK's longest running children's drama programme, Grange Hill. My name's Neil, and in each episode I'll interview a former cast member about their life before, during and after their time on the programme. Okay, welcome to the latest episode of Sausage on a Fork, and I am absolutely delighted to say that I have been joined for this episode by none other than Keith Macey, who played Gregson's gang member. Keith, welcome to Sausage on a Fork.
Thank you very much, and it's an honour and a privilege and a real pleasure to be on here, so great.
Brilliant. Okay, Keith, well, what we'll do is we'll start this episode the way we start every episode, and if you could tell us how you first got into acting.
Originally, my mum was hoovering in the lounge, and suddenly she sat down on the side of the little armchair there and started looking at the television, and I looked across. I was playing on the floor, and I think probably either with dinky cars, because I had loads of them, or maybe knights or something, soldiers. And I thought, what the hell is she watching ballet for? And there was a load of girls in leotards and this woman in a leotard that looked really sort of like over the top makeup and hair and massive glasses and everything. Mm-hmm. And I thought, Mum's not into ballet. I've never seen her watching ballet. Oh, it's weird. Anyway, I carried on. So it ran for probably about 10 minutes, and then the credits go and she's still staring at it. And then she gets up, walks over to the phone, phones directory inquiries, because this is back in 74, so we didn't have internet or anything. And I heard her say, can you give me the phone number for Barbara Speak's stage school? I knew I was going to be changing schools because I was 11, and at the private school I was at, Franklin House in Palmer's Green. And you need to leave there and obviously go to a bigger school. So I thought, stage school? What the hell's a stage school? I'd never heard the term before, So anyway, she says thank you, and then she phones up and she talks to somebody. I'm really ignoring the conversation, so I don't really remember anything much about it, other than she hung up and said, right, we're going to an interview for the new school. I thought, I don't want to go to school. I wanted to stay home. I was not interested in school, full stop, So it's like, yeah, you've got to go to school. Fine. So anyway, long story short, we arrived the next day, walk into this place, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It's unusual. It's a little low-level building, like sort of prefabricated thing on East Acton Lane, right on the corner. You got the Westway behind. We were sort of behind a pub. And I go in, and I'm greeted by this woman that I saw on this TV program, and I thought, oh, that's that lady I saw with the big glasses and the hair and massive earrings and everything. So she says, oh, hello, hang on, could you go with my mum? This really old lady appears, and apparently that's Miss Speak's mum. She's about the same height as me as a kid. She's very short. Miss Speak's up here and the mum's down there. I was like, how does that work? So she takes me around the school, and we end up in this room and starts asking me sizes. And I went, I don't know. My mum just buys me clothes. I haven't got a clue what's she holds things up, or I think that'll fit you. And she hands out, piling me up with all this stuff. So I thought, I suppose I must be starting there. We go back. Mum said, they're definitely accepting you. So Miss Speak said, yes, we're short of boys at the moment. As soon as I saw you, I thought, yeah, he's great. It'd be ideal. All right. So that was that. So I started because my mum kind of picked the school. She was friends with actor Peter Barkworth. He was in Manhunt and obviously Where Eagles Dare. I mean, he'd done quite a lot over the years. Mum knew him. Uh-huh. And I don't know whether it was kind of, when I was little, I wanted to be a policeman. I mean, that age of 5 onwards, I happened to be a policeman. So, I was kind of thrust into this stage school. I was literally there a week. At the end of every day, Miss Speak would do the assembly thing, and then she'd call out different names, and you walk up and she'd give certain pupils brown envelopes. So I found out on the first day this happened. Next day I asked, and some of the kids said, oh yeah, it's either auditions or you might have a job. So I'd literally been there a week, and my name's called. So why should she call my name out? Oh, maybe I'm going on audition. So I get the envelope, I go back, and she said everybody can go home. So I open it up, a couple of friends there. Well, what is it? Oh, shit, I can't do this. So it was like, why? I said, it's a job. I've only been here a week. They haven't taught me acting or anything. I totally panicked. So I went running down the corridor, knocked on the office door. June Collins, obviously Phil Collins' mum, answered because she was the agent. Uh-huh. And I said, Miss Speaks, give me this, and it's a mistake, and I'll let the score down. I can't do it, So she looks and she laughed and she said, "It'd be fine, Keith. Just go there and just do what the director tells you, and everything will be fine." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because I don't want to give the store a bad reputation. So Miss Speak arrives. She laughs about it and explains, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll go." But anyway, I turn up at the studio. To me, as a kid, it was massive. It was literally, I don't know, it's probably the size of a decent sized lounge, realistically. When you went to BBC and you saw those size studios,
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, lights everywhere, 5 cameras, sets. And I'm like, whoa, But, first time I'd ever been anywhere. So I'm in there and I'm just standing there like a statue. And the director came over and he went, "First job?" I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Okay, see the camera there? Yeah, and the tripod. Stay away from that. It's £35,000, which to me is that would have been my entire lifetime working, to pay for it. I mean, I won't. I promise I won't go anywhere near it." So it was MB Games and it was Connect 4. Right. So I sat down at the table. There's a girl there. Director says, "Right, pick up that color counter, drop it in there." And then she'd put one there, and then I need you to put one here. So that. And it was advertising Connect 4. So that was the very first job a week into being at
Wow. So that was the game was choreographed then.
Yeah.
It wasn't just go and play Connect 4 and see what happens.
They've worked out that I drop one in, she drops one in. I drop one and she drops one in. I drop one in and go, "I've won." And then she's "Where?" And I go, "There, a row of 4, Connect 4." And that was it. I think that was,
brilliant. Because I was going to ask, did you get much work when you first started? But to get it after a week, it's incredible.
She literally just threw me into it, and that was it. Yeah.
Wow. Because when I was looking at your IMDb,
there's not much. I haven't got much on there. There's way more. I've done lots more than is actually on it. Reason for that is IMDb I find are annoying. If I put on All Creatures Great and Small, I've done that twice.
Right.
So a 10-year period, I think it was. I'm sure it was 1979. I think 1989 seems to ring a bell. I know there was 10 years between it. 78 and 88. It was around that time frame. And you put that in, and then it says what episode or what episode title, because obviously a lot of shows, long running, they have an episode number or that. Now, I did have every single contract that I ever got, and they were in a box. When I lived in London, we got a break-in, and for some unknown reason, they stole the box with all the contracts in. Completely worthless to them, but they all went missing. So thankfully, I had a couple of copies of some things. So I've got a copy of EastEnders and Doctor Who, All Creatures Great and Small. I think I've got that. So I have a few left, but 99% of them all disappeared. So I don't have the episode numbers. I don't have the episode title.
Right, yeah.
YouTube helps sometimes because I can search for a series and maybe find it. And like the Gentle Touch, I worked with Jill Gascoigne and Paul Moriarty, Cook and Jules Sewell. Now, obviously, that episode's on there. So I kind of went through and went, "Oh, yeah, The Ring." I remember, I knew what it was called, so I could add that to it. But yeah, I've done over 200 productions for BBC.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, I've worked for Granada, HTV, Anglia, Central, all the independents, London Weekend Television, a few jobs for them, Thames Television. So, yeah, my actual amount of credits that should be on there are way more.
I always say, it is my catchphrase that IMDb is not the most reliable source of information. But like I say, when I look through it, some of the things that are on there must have been great as a kid. Things like, Headmaster, working with Frank Windsor.
And Colin Douglas. I mean, he was lovely.
That episode that you were in, Lucinda Curtis was in that episode, and she played Mrs. Regan in Grange Hill. And you were in something else called Full Circle.
Yes, with Mia Farrow.
Mia Farrow, Mia Farrow, Tom Conti. So when you're going on those things and you are, I don't know, you were like 13, 14, whatever.
Yeah. I started when I was 11.
Do you realise, do you appreciate, do you know how big these people are that you're going to be in these films and TV programs with?
Yeah, I mean, when I got the part in Headmaster, obviously I've seen Frank Windsor on things. I've seen Colin Douglas in like A Family at War.
Yeah,
I'd grown up watching these people, and when I went home and I said to me, well, obviously initially you go to the rehearsal rooms and you rehearse for like a week, and then eventually you get into studio and you do rehearsals in studio and then you do the takes. And I remember going home and going like, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe who I'm working with! It's Colin Douglas and Frank Winslow." And Mum went, "What?" Yeah, and Geraldine Moffat's in it. She was in Get Carter with Michael Caine.
Yeah.
And it was like, "Oh my gosh," Mum was thrilled. And Daddy was like, when he came home from work, it was like, "Oh my God, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I remember getting paid, and I got £55. And Daddy looked at it and went, "Oh my God, I don't earn that in a week."
Yeah.
And it was like one day, 55 quid a day. It was like, and the money was amazing.
Wow.
But working with them, I mean, Mia Farrow, obviously Rosemary's Baby, I'd heard of that. I think I'd probably seen it by then, because my parents were very, I don't know, liberal is the word. They'd let me watch horror movies from the age of 7.
Yeah.
Right. I loved witches and vampires and mummies and all the horror stuff. So they were kind of like, it's an RKO, black and white. It's not that bad. We'll let you watch it. So I remember the first one I ever saw was a black and white RKO of Frankenstein. A week later, the BBC put on, I think it was 1958's Dracula with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing.
Right.
And I watch it. Mummy's in the kitchen and she hears me crying. She comes into the lounge and I'm like tears everywhere. I said, "Oh my God, darling, what's wrong?" And I'm looking at the TV and the credits are rolling up. And I said, "Dracula died." And she says, "What?" "Dracula died. He just disintegrated, because the sunlight hit him." I said, "But you don't need to cry, baby. Dracula's a bad man. No, Mummy, vampire's good." So she looked at me, shook her head, went, "You're a strange child," and walked back in the kitchen. And there was my love of horror born, So when I was in Full Circle, and it's a horror film, and I'm working with Mia Farrow of all people, that was, I mean, I had a speaking part in it. Sadly, that got cut out and didn't get used, but you do still see me in the film 3 times. I mean, the picture she puts down on the bench, you see me throwing the ball when some of the kids are playing in the background. And when she goes in the sandpit, there's one boy on his own going round and round on the roundabout. That lasts about 20 seconds on shot, and that's me. Yes. So I was still proud and pleased that I was on it, and I've worked on a horror movie, and it's like, I love horror films. So it's one of my and the very, very first feature film I'd ever worked on. I've done some TV work up to then. I've done TV adverts and I've done a few TV things, but it was the first proper movie. Yeah. So to me, it was like, this is proper acting. I'm in a film, It's shown at the cinema. Right? It was like, it was a really big deal as a kid.
And the film you were in, well, I assume it was a film, Absolution, where you played the choir boy, Richard Burton. Like,
I know. I mean, Hollywood royalty for God's sake, And he spoke to me. I mean, we're on the location, and he's talking to the director, and he's walking towards me, and I'm looking, and I'm going, "Oh my God, it's Richard Burton." I mean, my mum was and I do mean massive fan of Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton's work. So he comes up to me, and I'm the first one in the little row of choir boys there that he talks to, and he says, "You're very pale, little one." And I just sort of froze and then panicked, and then went, "Well, we don't all have the money you got, Mr. Burton, to swan off to the south of France every day and get a tan." And everybody's eyes just hit me, and my friend next to me nudged me like that, as if, "Oh my God," And he looked at me and he went, "Cheeky little bugger," turned around and walked off. The crew, everyone is glaring daggers at me. He goes over, talks to the director. They both stare back at me, Burton and, the director. And I'm like, "Oh, God." My friend went, "You can't talk to Richard Burton like that." I just panicked. I didn't know what he spoke to me. So anyway, we shoot the sequence. We break for lunch. Everybody just goes. Nobody's talking to me. Everybody's ignoring me. I'm like, "Oh God, I'm never going to work in the industry ever again." So reluctantly, I kind of wake my way out. Outside on location, as you can appreciate, tons of vehicles, caravans, all sorts, big mobile home type jobs. There's 2 massive green ones. I presume maybe wardrobe and makeup or something. So I pass the doorway of one. I hear it open behind me. And then I hear Richard Burton's iconic voice say, "Keith, can I have a word?" And I just froze on the pavement. I went, "Oh my God, he knows my name. Shit, Richard Burton just spoke my name. Wow." So I turned around, head down, walked towards him. I could see a pair of shoes, and then I sort of stopped and I kind of looked up, and he had that iconic look of extreme, the devil himself kind of look. I just went, I'm really sorry, Mr. Bell. I honestly didn't mean to be rude or cheeky or anything. It's just I panicked. My mum watches all your movies and Elizabeth, and she loves the pair of you, and I've seen every single film you've ever done. And it's just like, you're the best actor in the world. And I would never have been cheeky to you. So with that, his face kind of mellowed, and then he smiled and he went, "Well, I don't know about the best actor in the world bit. Oh, you are, Mr. Burton, honestly, you are." So then he smiled more and we said, "Yeah, come here, sit down with me." And we sat and we chatted for 25
Wow.
minutes, 1-to-1. And he was awesome, really nice. And then Susie Hunt turned up because he was seeing her at that stage. And he introduced me to her and then said, "Well, it's been lovely chatting with you. And I'm afraid, I'm going to have to go," sort of thing, because she's arrived. But, obviously I'll see you inside when we carry on filming. I was hoping that some of my school friends would have walked past and seen me with him. Not one of them bloody did. We did have the director and the cameraman go by. He looked at me, glared at me, said to Richard, "Is this little boy disturbing you?" So Richard stood up, looked at him, and I remember it distinctly. I mean, it's years ago, but I never forgot this. And he said, "I'm talking to my new friend, Keith." Looked at me and said, "Aren't I, Keith?" So I said, "Yes, Mr. Burton." "And I asked you to talk to me, didn't I?" So I said, "Yes, Mr. Burton, you did." "So you two bugger off and leave us alone." And he did that really forceful thing, And they just scurried off and went. And I said, "I don't think the director likes me very much." So he says, "To be honest, I don't think the director likes anyone very much, but there's nothing you can do about it because I'm paying for half this film to be made."
Wow.
Whoa, really? And then we got chatting. Apparently, Anthony Schaefer's work, Burton adored it, like really adored it. He'd heard this part was coming up, and he said, "I just had to play this role." It was just, to him, it was he's done all these big things over the years, but that was the most important role that he could have ever played personally. That was his main thing, he told me.
Yeah.
So he said, when I found out, that's why I decided, right, I was going to produce it and do it so that I could get into this. And I've taken a massive cut in wages just so that I can play this role in this movie. So to him, it was like probably the best thing he could have ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, he was awesome in Medusa Touch, and so many other films I could quote. It's Cleopatra and everything. It was just, there's loads, But he was lovely.
Brilliant.
And then at the end of the shoot, the director says, "Right, that's a wrap. Everybody can go." I'm walking out of the chapel, and he said, "Oh no, not you, Keith. I need you back." I thought we would finish. No. There's another scene I'm going to shoot, and I need you. Pick two of your friends. So it was Michael Clements and Stuart Smitherman. So we go over. We're sitting in the pews. We've got like the confessionals over there. Not right behind us. I think it's the next row back is David Bradley and Dominic Gard. Yeah. The camera's there at the end of the pew. I'm this end. I think Michael was there and Stuart may be there. So anyway, they're setting everything up. And then the director says, "Oh, no, I need you to swap round. Keith, can you sit here?" So I went, "Oh, you want me there?" "Yeah." So I sit there and I'm like, "Oh my God, camera's right here." So I'm right in frame, yeah. So then he goes off, comes back, gives me some rosary beads and says, "Right, I need you to just be sort of lean slightly forward and you're playing with these and you're thinking about what you've done and you shouldn't have done." He said, "And then when you hear the confessional door open, I need you to sort of look back and look like this and then kind of come back again." So I went, "Oh, okay." I'm thinking, I'm getting direction. Okay, fine. So we did it. They're doing their lines. I think they fluffed it twice. And then third one, we got it perfect. So he said, "Great, thank you very much. That's right. Now you can go." So I start to make my way out of the church, and it's got massive stone pillars all the way down it. So I've passed about 4 or 5, and as I'm going forward, Richard steps out from between them, looks at me with a big smile on his face. So I went, "Oh, hello again." So he said, "Did you like that?" And I went, "Well, I wasn't expecting to do it, to be fair. I mean, I didn't know what was in it." "No, you weren't. But I had a word with the director, and I told him that I wanted you in the scene. And I told him to give you something to do, and so you had some direction, and to put you right in front of camera. So when it comes out of the cinema, you'll be able to see yourself at it in close up. Because in the other shots, you can see that I know it's me, and you can sort of tell it's me, but it's a longer shot." So he said, "And that's my thank you for our personal chat." Wow. And I promise I'll try. Now, you know what Richard's preferred habit was? Obviously, he liked to drink.
Right.
Me as a young kid, being very innocent, growing up in a household where parents didn't drink, so it wasn't normal. I kind of got onto the subject because on set he was several. I mean, we spent a week shooting it, and it should have realistically probably been shot in 2 days. But Richard had turned up on the set and he was half cut, and they'd have an argument with the director, and then he'd be gone all day, and we didn't see it.
Right.
So we're back the next day, and he might be on set for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. and then he's gone. And then he comes back, and then he's slurring his words a little bit, and then he'd be gone again. And we didn't see him all day. So I was like, why do you drink so much? And then it's like, well, it's not easy to stop. But me being a kid and innocent and everything, we got into a conversation about it. And then I literally said to him, there's so many people around the world that love you. You don't know any of them. You don't probably realize this, but they do. I said, my mum adores you and I adore you. And I said, and if you drank that much and you got kidney disease or liver disease and you died, it would break my heart. And tears came. I burst out crying.
Yeah.
You could see Richard sort of welling up. I saw water in his eyes, and he just gave me a hug, and he said, I promise I'll try and stop. We carried on the conversation. Susie turned up, and that was it. Now, he was on, I'm pretty convinced it's Michael Parkinson and not the other one, Michael Aspel. I think it's Parkinson, wasn't it? Yeah. He was interviewed on that a few months afterwards, and he says on camera on there to him, I gather you stopped drinking. And Richard said yes. So he kept his word, and he did stop. And that was a little boy touching the heart of an adult.
Wow.
By our conversation. And Richard put me on camera with the director in the close-up as a thank you. And I thought, a massive, massive star to do something like that.
Yeah.
Same with Mia. Mia was seriously kind to me on set when we shot that. Again, big Hollywood star, and she was adorable. I love her to this day. I've never forgotten what we do.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Well, so we'll talk about, because obviously the next thing would have been then Grange Hill, which obviously started in 1978. So you were a supporting artist from
originally
from day one.
I can't remember because I should have watched it again, I guess, but I haven't. I've got it on DVD, Series 1, Series 2. I think I've got Series 3 probably on VHS. Right. So I haven't seen it for years. There's a guy called Liam Watts who will tell you every single episode that he sees me in.
Right.
We contacted on each other. He contacted me originally on Facebook, and he was friends with Robert Craig Morgan, who I'm still friends with to this day. I adore Robert. We met at BBC years before, about 3 or 4 years before. I must have been working on Headmaster, and Robert was working on something else. Right. We had a break in the green room area, 2 kids. It was just me on this thing with a load of adults, him, I think, with a load of adults. So we're the same sort of age. So we got chatting, became friends. And I really, really loved Robert right from the moment I met him. And I thought, I really hope one day I get to work with him. Lo and behold, Grange Hill crops up for a little while afterwards, and we got to do a scene together and work together. So it was wonderful. Robert's an adorable guy. I love him to bits,
Yeah.
Liam would be able to tell you everything, but obviously, I remember some of the episodes I'm in, like obviously 14, I'm in Gregson's gang. 17, I'm coming down the stairs with Todd Carty, Mark Chapman, Robert Craig Morgan as one of their friends back in Grange Hill Union.
Yeah.
And I think possibly the episode, maybe 2 episodes before Gregson's gang, you see me in Grange Hill uniform, and you would see me walking across playgrounds, sitting in. I've got 2 episodes where I'm at the front of the class. There's one where the teacher walks in. I've got a comic, and I kind of lift the desk lid up, slide it in, sit there and cross my arms like this, and sort of just watching what she's saying. And there's another one where I see the class leaving, and I pick up a rucksack thing, and it's over a duffel bag, whatever, over my shoulder, and I walk out. Then there's a shot of Neil Rogers, Jonathan Higgins, Mark Chapman, a load of the girls. We're walking across the playground, and we're chatting. I don't know if they've got the dialogue on it, or whether it was a wild track, because it's so many years ago that I've seen that, but I know that's out there. So there's lots of sequences where it's like, I'm there, I'm coming down. I played the goalkeeper in the Grange Hill football team.
Brilliant.
So when Benny gets the 50p nicked and the teacher empty your pockets, Mr. Baxter comes up, you'll see me, right on this, Mr. Baxter there, and I'm here on screen, and he looks at, what have you got? And I'm like this. Michael Clements is looking to see what I'm holding out, and he goes around the things.
Pickles is in that as well, isn't he? Pickles Norman, he's there as well.
Yeah, Wayne Norman. Yes.
Brilliant. But did you audition for any parts in Grange Hill, or was it just a case of we need kids coming along?
Yeah, originally, obviously, for the supporting artist stuff, BBC get in touch with Barbara Speak, or June, probably more likely. although they both worked at the office and they were always busy answering phone calls and phoning around and trying to get us work. June was awesome agent and Barbara was very proactive with it as well.
Yeah.
So, the BBC might get in touch and go, right, we've got this program. We need 14 kids or something for a sports day thing. They're playing football or whatever it might be. So you turn up as supporting artists. Obviously they'd hold auditions for the Todd Carty parts and things like that. I don't ever remember going on an audition for Grange Hill to get into it. It was just like, oh, you're working on this kids program. I think I must have seen episode 1 or 2 maybe, and then we were working on it because we all thought it was amazing. Yeah, we just loved it. It was the first program that was about children when you think about it. I mean, we've had things like Famous Five or whatever, but it was a kids-based program and the kids were the main stars of it and the adults were kind of like secondary in a way. So, it was a big deal back then. Every kid that I ever saw anywhere in public was, oh my God, you're on Grange Hill. Well, I'd kill to be on that. I'd love to be in it. Everybody watched it and it was so iconic and popular. And even as a background artist, supporting artist, we're getting kids coming up. Can we have your autograph? Well, I've not got a major part in this, but you're in Grange Hill. We find loads thinking this is surreal. It's like, what? It was really funny, but very, very nice, that people treated it like that. You really felt like a big star, even though you weren't. Yeah. And I remember talking to Todd about it we had a lunch break. And he said, you know what? I keep telling them, we're nothing special. We're just kids, just like you. We just happen to be at the stage school and we just happen to be on a TV program. Yeah. We're not, we're no different from you. I love that attitude. I thought it was really nice, back then. I'd worked with Todd actually because he was in Headmaster as well. That was the first time I met Todd Carty. Yeah, he was a different episode, I think, but obviously on the rehearsals, we all the cast meet up. So Todd was in there running around like a bloody lunatic.
Brilliant. So you said there though, so you were like a Grange Hill pupil at first,
and then the director, obviously picked me out and sort of said, I'd been offered a speaking part in it. We recorded it. And then when it came out, I didn't see it. And we went back to film some more and I saw Colin Kent and I said, what's going on? And he says, oh, yeah, sorry, it got cut out because of the running time.
Yeah.
But I'll give you another one. Okay, fine. A couple of weeks might have gone by. I get another one. We record that. Yeah, it's fine. Great. Lovely. That episode comes out. Wasn't in that either. So we'll go back and we're filming more. And I see him again and get a chance to talk. And he went, I'm so sorry. They've done the same thing again. It was like, this is ridiculous. It's twice now I've had a speaking part. Twice it's been cut. Because obviously back then, half-hour episodes. So you factor in the start credits, factor in the end credits. You're looking at about 25 minutes. Sounds a lot, but when you're trying to tell a story, it isn't.
Yeah.
We filmed way more scenes than you ever saw on screen.
Yeah.
There was lots of scenes that were bigger, that were cut down. There were scenes we shot that never got shown.
Yeah.
So in those early series, you probably could have made another 2 series out of all of the stuff that wasn't, that much footage was shot.
Yeah.
And then eventually, obviously, Gregson's gang thing turns up. And I went, No, he said, I've been to Television Centre and we do the credits before we shoot the episode. I've been in the editing suite and I can 100% guarantee your name's on the end credits because I've personally seen it. Awesome. And it'll be printed in the Radio Times cast listing. And I was like, yes, at last. Yeah. You have a speaking part in that Gregson's gang thing.
Yeah.
When we're pinning the uniform up on the wall.
Yeah.
I think it says one used Grange Hill uniform or something on the thing. Michael Sampson, the play Gregson, says to me, have a look outside and see if any teachers are coming or if anyone's coming. So I open the door, look out that way, look back, and then look back in and go, no, the coast is clear. Oh, great. Okay, lads, come on, let's go. That was on it. That was trimmed out. So the speaking bit there was cut, but at least you see me a lot in it. I think it's about 20 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
And my name's on the end credits. So I was like, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll talk about that episode because, there might be people listening who don't know the story behind Gregson and Gregson's gang and whatever. And so obviously by now, it was in series 2. So obviously by now, Grange Hill was already a hit. It had gone out the year before in 78. And and it was only 9 episodes, the first series, but it was massive. Every kid, as you said, there'd been the famous 5, there'd been Just William, there'd been, things like that, but there hadn't been anything showing real kids in semi-real situations. Let's be honest. It has to be a little bit dramatic, doesn't it?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. And what had happened was, and this is things that happened, Tucker had been jumped in the morning on the way to school by 3 of the Brookdale kids.
Lads.
Yeah. Gregson was one of them. And, they beat him up, they took his blazer off him and they'd written on it and, they'd thrown it away. And Tucker wasn't happy. At lunchtime, Tucker and his mates saw Gregson on his own. And, he was a kid from Brookdale. And this time they gave him a bit of a kick and they got hold of him. They gave him a bit of a kicking and took his blazer and wrote on it. But Gregson ran off, leaving his blazer behind. This is how your part starts coming into it. Because Benny was telling Tucker and his mates that it wasn't right, that they had this blazer. They should do something. They should basically should take it back to Brookdale, because Benny was like the voice of reason in that little crew. But the lads weren't going to go near Brookdale. So Benny said he'd take it to Brookdale by himself and say he'd found it. But in the meantime, Gregson had gone back to Brookdale and grabbed a load of his mates to come and get the Grange Hill lads, and Tucker, etc. were there. Like, so as Benny's walking back, this is where you come into it. You see all Gregson's gang coming running around the corner. So they give chase to Tucker, Benny, Hughesy, and Big Alan. Yeah. And they managed to get Benny's blazer. Which Benny's blazer they got, obviously pick on the little kids. You know what you Brookdales are like. They get Benny's blazer off him, and they then took it to back to Brookdale. And so the lads decided they had to go and get it back, because obviously there'd been storylines in the past about how Benny was on welfare and they didn't have a lot of money, so obviously he didn't want to go back to his house without his blazer.
His mum wouldn't have afforded it.
Yeah, so the lads decided to go back to Brookdale and get it. Tucker, Benny, and Alan and take their ties and their blazers off so they can't get noticed straight away. Shall we say?
They got the grey pullovers on. Blending with Brookdale's uniform,
And Hughesy waited outside. Now, as you said, the Brookies had gone in, Gregson's gang had gone into the school. They'd written on it, one used Grange Hill blazer, and hung it up on the wall in a classroom. And then we see Tucker, Benny, and Alan creeping round the school. It's proper, like they're properly like on tiptoes, like creeping around, like not wanting to get seen and heard. And they actually look into the classroom. They look through the door of the classroom that it's in, but because it's on that wall, they don't see it.
No.
And they're there waiting at the top of the stairs, wondering what to do. And then they see Gregson, and they manage to chase him and grab him. Gregson then takes them to the room that the blazer was in. And Gregson and his mates come back mob-handed. Now, I mentioned earlier that there was the chase and they grabbed hold of the lads and Benny. Did you get much choreography, much direction in them scenes, or was it a case of, right, lads, you don't like them, go and give them what for, like?
Yeah, director literally just said, you're having a bit of a scrap, and you steal the blazer. So it was literally a free for all. We didn't kind of get anybody going, right, you do this, you do that. What was funny, and I distinctly remember it, obviously Donald Wall and me were Barbara Speak.
Right.
So Donald's in my class. We're good friends. I mean, we got on really well. A lovely lad. So I said to Donald, "Do you want you and me to fight? Because we'd be really careful with each other because we're best friends anyway." I said, and the others might kind of be a bit rough. And he went, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea." So that's why me and Donald have the little scrap. Right. Because we're careful with each other, whereas we're thinking it might get a bit too rough. We didn't want that to happen. So I remember that distinctly. That was funny.
Brilliant.
And we did a hell of a lot of, because obviously you rehearse it and then you do a take, and then they might want another take and another. So the amount of running we did, running up and down the staircase in the Brookdale school and chasing them through the streets and everything. It was. I mean, we're all young, and it was a good job we were pretty fit because it
there
was
there was a lot of running in there.
A lot of running, yeah. Then bloody stairs, up the, oh no, hair in the gate or something, oh, fine, go back down, do another one, The funny part was the school knew that BBC were coming and filming. So they got the janitors in to absolutely immaculify it. Yeah. And that long corridor at the top of the stairs, it was like, I don't know, kind of like, wasn't tiled as such, but it was shiny floor, they polished it to perfection. So we all come running up the stairs, and the director wanted us to stop at the top of the stairs and look left and look right and then kind of go off. So we come running up, and we hit the floor to try and stop, and all of us just kept going.
Yeah.
And we just went shoom, straight past camera. I thought if it's an outtake of that, it'd be hilarious. What were you doing? It's like the floor, we just ended up in a heap, all of us on the floor, out of shot, And it was like, oh my God, it's like an ice rink. And then when we ran down the corridor, again, we're sliding everywhere. So we had to kind of pedantically try and get our feet footing okay. Because I'm thinking, no school is this clean. The BBC are coming, it's going to look immaculate.
Yeah.
It wasn't dust, it wasn't a mark in sight. It was hilarious. Yeah. But on the staircase, if you look at that shot, when you've got them coming up, you'll see a big black camera cable. Now, I said to the director, that's going to be in shot. No, it won't. It will. You'll see it. Trust me. I've been working, enough times to know. And he went, no, it'll be fine. I can see it on monitor, and I'm going like, that'll show. When it comes out, you can. You watch that episode, you'll see the big black camera cable running down the stairs.
Yeah, brilliant.
I picked up a few things like that. I told him about a massive lighting stand in the playground. And went, nobody will see it. Have you seen?
That's a really well-known one, that one. Yeah.
I told him about it. As we're shooting it, it'd be fine. You won't see it in shot. It's in the friggin' boom. There was a few things like that. Booms coming down. It's like, you're going to get it. No, the take was fine. We'd use it. The boom's in shot. It ruins it,
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. So, as you said there, you're running through the corridors because Gregson got away from them, even though he got into the blazer. He got away from them, told them they were in the school. Yeah. And there is that more chasing, more running round. And Tucker and his mates are then stopped by a teacher.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to laugh at this because he stops them and he's asking them, what form they're in.
Where are your ties?
where are your ties and all that. And it looks like the fact that they're from Grange Hill is about to come out, right?
Yeah.
But then Gregson's gang all come running, chasing after him.
Shoots in the corridor and out the doors.
They all run off, like, away from that teacher that stopped them, because clearly that teacher has got no control or authority over any of those brookies, because they all just run past him and he just stands there and doesn't say anything to you.
Yeah, you think he would have been, all right, lads, come here, what are you doing?
The way he stopped them at first, Tucker and his mates, but then all these other lads come through and he just lets them run off and run past them.
Yeah.
And the lads got back to Grange Hill and they did get away with it. They never got the kicking that you thought they were going to get from the brookies. Which, would have been, maybe you would have been hoping that they got another kick and you got another chance to have a bit of a scrap with them.
Yeah, would have been fun, a bit more action. But yeah, one thing I always found with Grange Hill, and I think why it was so popular, every other production you watch, sometimes you'll work with an actor on a previous production. One member of cast might work with another member of cast on another job, whether it's a film or TV or whatever. But rarely do you get the entire cast that kind of are working together on something that are friends before they're actually in the production. All of us kids, we're Barbara Speak, we're Corona, Anna Shears. We worked on other jobs, a lot of us. So, like Todd, he was in Headmaster, so we'd met and we knew each other. Yeah. Robert, I'd met him at BBC prior to being in it. Obviously, a lot of us are from Barbara Speaks, like Donald, Lindy Brill, etc. Yeah. So, we all knew each other. So we were friends before we went into it. And I think that's why Grange Hill really worked, because we were genuine friends. So it wasn't just pretending to be friends for a production. We actually were friends and we all got on. Yeah. Even if we weren't at the same school and it's a rival stage school, we still, we're all stage school kids and we're all just... it gelled right. So I think that's why it is more real in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And then you've mentioned again, you were on 3 episodes later. as you said, this time you were in the Grange Hill uniform, and it was exam week, and
It was.
we see you coming out of an exam with Tucker and Justin and Andrew talking about an exam that they just had, and then Tucker then wanted to go. Tucker wants to go and play cricket, but the other three wanted to. Of you were one of them. Wanted to go over the exam and talk about the exam, which as a kid that never ever entered my head that you would do that after an exam ever.
No, not me really. No. There you go. Script writers thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, Tucker rightly called them nut jobs at this point and walked off. Now that was like, because that was like they were the two main things that you've messaged me and talked to me about those things. But how long were you on Grange Hill for?
Obviously, I know I did series 2. I have a feeling that I did a couple of episodes in series 3. I remember going on one episode of Tucker's Luck afterwards as well.
All right.
That with Paul McCarthy, who again was at school, and we were sort of best mates back then, and Lynn, his sister. I can't remember exactly how many episodes I'd done, but I would say I probably wasn't in it after sort of 1980-ish, I think, because I was probably getting too tall, looking too old, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I still look relatively young, I think, back then. But other things were cropping up, and
because we're again looking through the thing. A lot of the things that you played, we've talked about the fact that you were in Headmaster as a schoolboy and a choir boy, because you were in a film called Yanks where you played a schoolboy again and again.
Richard Gere,
Vanessa Redgrave, Joe Nixon, John Ratzenberger, also Al Matthews. Benny Green's dad, but also in Predator. Like we said about it being like, starstruck, but again, it must be really hard not to be starstruck when you're getting jobs.
It's happened to me, I'm going to say, probably 5 times. When I was 10, I fancied a few different actresses. So obviously Jenny Hanley to me was just beyond adorable and beautiful.
I don't think you were alone in that one.
I got to work with her on an episode of Magpie. I asked her for an autograph. She kissed me on the cheek, and all my friends' mouths just dropped to the floor, and their eyes came out in sockets. And when I went back, oh my God, she kissed. I know, I'm not washing for a week, and I didn't. I honestly didn't. I said to Mum, I'm not washing that cheek. Why? Jenny Hanley's kissed me there today. I mean, it's not happening. So and then as I walked away, she went, "Oh, he's so sweet." And I went, Jenny Hanley said I was sweet, and my little heart melted. Leslie Ann Down I adored. I got to work with her twice and a speaking part in a movie with her once. Only a small part, but it was a speaking part, and it was just like, I'm working with Leslie Ann Down. And Susan McHannigan, I worked with her on a TV advert, and again, I fancied her like crazy when I was little. The only one I didn't get to meet and work with was Linda Hayden. Obviously, horror movies. She's in Hammer. Always wanted to work with her. Never got to. It's Monty Python's The Meaning of Life. Obviously, I grew up from the black and white days as very small, watching Python. So getting to work with John Cleese, Michael Palin, Terry Gilliam, Terry Jones, having John Cleese sit next to me and Michael Palin there at lunchtime, and we all chatted for 2 hours, and that was just like, oh my God, it's John Cleese, and I'm on a Python film. I'm a tiny part of Monty Python history. So I said to him, I've never done this before. I've worked with the biggest names, Sir John Gielgud, Sir Laurence Olivier, so many, Olivia Hussey. I said, it's just, they're actors. And then, wow, I'm working with them. Nice. That was it. I said, I've never done the fan thing ever, but I've got to tell you, I've got every book, every audio cassette, every record, scripts, everything that you've ever done. And he went, really? And I went, yeah, massive, massive, massive Python fan. I'm sorry, it's embarrassing to say it in a way, but I've got to tell you. So I said, I even got interviewed in the Evening Standard when I went for an audition for a part in the Marty Feldman film. And the journalist asked me, who are your heroes? I went, John Cleese, Michael Palin, Terry Gilliam, Terry Jim Pythons. I just adore them. So Mummy said, he embarrasses me so much when we go shopping. We're walking on the high street, and he starts doing one of John Cleese's funny walks. So they wrote all this up in the Evening Standard, picture of me in there with these other 2 kids that were up for the part. And John looked at me and he said, that was you? And I said, what? He said, Michael, yeah. you remember the Evening Standard cutting we've got indoors about a young lad talking about Monty Python doing funny walks? Michael thought for a second and went, oh, yeah, that's him.
Wow.
Oh, my God, really? What? He said, yeah, we keep everything. Anything that is publicising Monty Python in any way, they keep it. So they've got that in their personal archive, and John Cleese remembered it. And it was a few years, after I was working on the Python thing. And I went, oh, my God, really? You've got that? And yes. Thank you so much. And it went,
wow.
Thank you. Pleasure. So that was that. When we shot that, I said to Terry Jones, who was directing it, obviously we've got a lot of dialogue, oh, please don't burn us, don't ricochet your flock, don't put us on a barbecue, so fry us in a wok, and the, oh Lord, you are so big, so absolutely huge. Gosh, we're really impressed out. I still remember the line. I remember the lines from Headmaster. I remember, loads of them over the years. So I said, realistically, and we're all professional actors, the rest of the kids in those scenes in the church are all the actual kids from the school. But there was a group of us, about, I think maybe 12 in the pews or something, that are professional actors. I said, we should have a name on the end credits, shouldn't we? Oh, yes, he said that. Yeah. Oh, great. So anyway, a week after filming, Mummy answers the phone and says, there's a gentleman on the phone. He's asked to talk to you. Do you know who it is? No, he just said, is Keith there? Oh, right. Okay. So, hello. Oh, hi. Is that Keith? Yeah. Oh, it's Terry Jones. Oh, my God. Hi. I wasn't expecting you to phone me. Hi, Terry. What can I do for you? So he said, I just wanted to get in touch. I phoned your agent, got the number. I hope you don't mind. Mind? Why would I mind? You're my heroes kind of thing. This is awesome. So he said, I've really, really tried hard to get your names, all of you that were on it, put on the shoot, on the end credits. And Sony, it was one of the companies. Mm-hmm. Python's other films, they'd all done themselves. They'd all financed them, Obviously, Harrison had come in and helped with one of them. So he said, this one, it's studio kind of funded, and they won't go for it. Why? I have no idea, but they wouldn't do it. He said, but I am in charge of editing. So I'm not going to spoil the surprise. He said, but obviously when it comes out, I think you'll like it. So I went, oh, right, okay. It's a shame the credits aren't there because they should have been technically, but still, dialogue-wise, we had enough. Anyway, Terry had cut it so that I got 3 decent close-ups in it. And I was like, oh, fair play. And then he said, thank you so much for working on it with us. And I said, well, it's my honor, privilege. I mean, Python, so So he said, it was lovely working with you, and thank you so much, and thank you so much for being a Python fan. I'm like, it's an honor. You guys were amazing. So that's the only real time that I've been very, very, very fan type with that. Obviously, I was in all working with Jenny Hanley, and I was in all working with Susan Penhaligon. I was just, oh my God, she's Susan Penhaligon. Wow. And again, Leslie Ann Down twice, because it was just like, and Richard, obviously, and I just adore Mia because how lovely she was. But and Jill Gascoigne. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a few that I think this one was amazing. John Gielgud, he was lovely to work with, and really, really very complimentary to me as well for what I was shooting with him. And he said my timing was immaculate, and I went, "Oh my God, thank you!" I mean, coming from John Gielgud, that's that was really good. So I've had quite a few.
Well, you mentioned the gentle touch earlier on. You've just mentioned Jill Gascoigne again there, and you mentioned Terry Jones because by massive coincidence, your character in the Gentle Touch episode you were in was Terry Jones.
I know, really weird. and the director came up with that name. I didn't.
And Grange Hill fans, Mark Savage was in that episode. Mark Savage, you eventually played Gripper Stepson.
He was.
In Grange Hill is in the same episode as you. Were you in? Yes. Were you in scenes with him?
We're in the gymnasium, and there's 2 lads in the boxing ring sort of sparring, and he's there, and obviously I'm in it as well. We had who's on there with me. Obviously, Paul McCarthy's on it. Your spot, Paul. Right. He's there. You see him in the gymnasium and standing in the background talking to me behind Jill Gascoigne when we got a close up of Jill talking. It's like me there and there's Paul talking there. Trying to think who else was on Grange Hill was on that. Obviously, a lot of us did like background stuff. So, James Lawrence was on Gentle Touch. Tim Slender, he was on it. I'd have to watch the sequence again to pick them all out. But yeah, there's a few of us. I think there was one lad from Sylvia Young's, and all the rest of us were Barbara Speaks, ex-Barbara.
Oh,
we're all obviously 1980, so yeah, we'd all kind of 16, 17. We'd left by then. But yeah.
So you mentioned Leslie Ann Down as well, because that was one of the things was the last days of Pompeii.
Yeah. Oh God!
I mean, that cast is just ridiculous. Like,
I know
Ned Beatty, Ernest Borgnine, Brian Blessed, Olivier. You know, so like,
I know. Frank Nero. I mean, I'm talking to all these people at Pinewood on the back lot, right next to the 007 sound stage, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Yeah. I mean, obviously you're kind of in awe of like, oh my God, I'm working with this person and this person and this. Wow, yeah. You see all the faces and you recognize them from watching them in all these productions. But obviously, I suppose it's different. If you're a member of the public and you saw them, it'd be like, oh, yeah. I get that little kind of internally sort of, wow, I'm working with this is amazing. And I get to talk to them, which is awesome. And I noticed on the very early days of me being a kid, I'd get maybe an extra would go up to somebody on a film set, or supporting artists would go up on a TV production, and they'd be, oh, I'm a big fan of yours. And oh, thank you very much. And they'd walk off. Yeah. And I'm thinking, that's the wrong way to approach it, because they get that from the public wherever they go in their normal day lives. What you need to do is go up and go, I'm a very big admirer of your production, so-and-so, because I thought you were awesome in that part. Yeah. And oh, really? Oh, that's very kind of you. And that would engage a conversation. So that's the way I ever approached it. Whenever I was working with somebody big names in the industry, it would I said to Sir John Gielgud, I absolutely adored you in Caligula. I thought it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And he went, oh, yes, that one. It's got a bit of a reputation, that film, dear boy. I know. But I said, Helen Mirren and Peter O'Toole, Malcolm McDowell, rather. I said, the sets are stunning, the costumes are stunning, the music is to die for. I said, I've got the uncut, 3.5-hour version on VHS, and I absolutely adore the movie. And then we get chatting, and it was lovely.
Brilliant. So, now, there was something here that I saw you were in, something called Dutch Girls. And your character is credited as Naked Boy in Shower.
That's the one. Yes.
First of all, let's just Bill Patterson, Timothy Spall, Colin Firth, Colin McFarlane. There's big names there. Let's just start with that. Like,
let that sink in.
Because I mean, Timothy Colin Firth now but Timothy Spall was just on Auf Wiedersehen Pets, was just sort of round that, so he's becoming known as well. So there's quite a few people cutting their teeth there, but obviously none like Naked Boy in Shower.
Yeah, very naked, completely naked, saw everything. Went out on VHS. It got sold to Holland. I know 14. I saw the one of the production crew at London Weekend after it came out, probably about 2 weeks after it had been shown. And I said, we were working on Dutch Girls, weren't we? He went, yeah. Do you know what the audience was on that? And I went, what? 14.5 million in Britain alone.
Wow.
So 14.5 million TV watchers got everything I possess. And then he said, oh yeah, and it's coming out on VHS. Oh really? Britain, Holland, I think it was Germany, it was Portugal, I think. So, and it was shown in various different countries. So yeah, my bits probably been seen as much as an average porn star's bits would have been, probably more. It did. It was hilarious to do it. I mean, we were all it was lunchtime. We were all sitting in a room. The director comes in and says, right, I need 3 of you to do a shower scene and it's completely nude. Everybody get up and started walking out. Where are you going? No, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. And there was me and these other 2 lads sitting there. And it was like, did he say naked? Well, yeah, he did say completely naked. That's what I definitely heard that. And everybody's just emptying. And it was just us 3. And he came over and please do it. I've got to get this scene shot and I need you to do it. So I went, hang on a minute. We get extra payment for that, don't we? Oh, yes. And you get made up to like walk on 2 on LWT as opposed to walk on 1. And it was, yes. So that means every time it's shown, we get full royalty payments. Yes, you get the full fee again.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And it's going out on video, so you get a video payment, and it's going sold abroad, so you get full. Oh my God. I said, do you realize how much money we could be making out of this to the other two? And I went, oh my God, yeah, you're right. I need to phone my mom. Yeah, there's a phone over there. Great. So, Mum, yeah, it's Keith. You know, I'm working on Dutch Girls, yeah. Director wants me to do a nude scene. It's a shower scene. Got any problems with it? No, it's completely up to you. All right, fine, Mum, bye. Put the phone down before she changed her mind. Went over and went, yeah, I'll do it. Great. So, yeah, we go off. Obviously, we're towels around us. We rehearse it. And then the director says, right, we go for a take. So we need you to get the towels off. And we look. Hang on, there's two female members of the crew. Bearing in mind, I think we're, 20, 21-ish, something like that. Young, yeah. And it's like, do you want to get naked in front of these girls? Because I feel really embarrassed. I mean, something might happen, And it was like, yeah, no, the other lads, no, So it's like, director, yeah, can we have a word? Yeah, you got two script girl, and I can't remember what the other one was, but she was important. It's like, can they not be here? And it's just all boys, because you've got a closed set as it is, And it's like, oh no, we need them here. Oh my God, really? We're not happy about it. So anyway, the girls overheard, and they literally went, don't worry about it, darling. We're just into girls. We're not interested in boys. They full on kiss on the lips. And we're kind of looking at, oh crap, now it's, two girls kissing, very pretty members of the crew, seriously pretty girls. And it's like, this is making it worse. So we kind of went to the director, in there for 5 minutes, trying to keep our hands in front because we can feel things happening. So yeah, we eventually calmed down, and we reluctantly do it. And of course, I'm the one at the front, so I'm the one that turns, and I see everything. It comes out. Mum and I are regular shoppers in Tottenham, in Sainsbury's. We know all of the girls on the checkouts, and there's a lot. There's probably about 15, 20 checkouts. And we know them all by name, and they know us by first name.
Yeah.
So we've shopped. We're in the queue. There's a lady in front, and there's somebody getting served. And then the girl looks up and goes, it's him, he's in. And, all down, and all the girls are looking, and they burst out laughing. So all the customers are looking, and the girls with tears running down their face, giggling their heads off. What the hell's wrong with you all? They're going, yeah. With that, the manager comes around, looks, oh my God, it's you. He's off. So this woman's looking at this girl. What the hell? See him behind you. So she turns, looks at me. I'm dressed in a suit, 3-piece suit, shirt, tie, very smart. Yes. He's an actor. Are you? Yes, I am an actor, yes. He was on telly last night, weren't he, girls? And they're all still giggling. Going, yes. Yeah, saw a lot of him, didn't we? A hell of a lot of him on telly last night. Yeah, completely naked he was. Saw his willy and everything. That was it, wasn't it? I was just like, oh my God. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, really hilarious that day was.
Amazing. But you got well paid for it though, so that's
yes, really good money for
the main thing there. Like, okay, and then I noticed you played the junior doctor in Sickness and in Health.
Oh yes, yeah.
So are you working with Warren Mitchell there then? Are you?
Yeah, Warren Mitchell's in the bed. So Warren Mitchell's daughter is in it as well.
Yeah.
Obviously Arthur English is on the studio as well, so we saw him.
Working with Warren Mitchell must have been incredible, like.
Yeah, and obviously John Bird as the consultant.
Yeah.
Seen him in lots of stuff. Warren was lovely, really nice guy and Arthur English was great sense of humour, really, really, really nice. Everybody on the cast was that I worked with on that.
And then Game, Set and Match. Now I remember Game, Set and Match being like a really big deal when that came out. It was like one of the things that was advertised loads, and obviously Ian Holm went on to play Bilbo, didn't he? The elder Bilbo Baggins. But that was I remember that just like a massive publicity thing, because it was set in all different countries or different cities around the world, if I remember rightly, but
like Russia or Germany, or something. Yeah,
but that must have been great to get. Were you in any of those countries, or were you in England?
No, we all shot the scenes that we did. Were all shot in, I'm trying to think, Oxford or Cambridge.
Right.
Cambridge University we went to. It was, I always get them two mixed up. It was either Oxford or University or Cambridge University. I know it took ages to get there because I got to BBC. I've been running slightly late, and I've missed the coach by about 3 minutes. I'm like, oh shit. So I said to them in reception, right, where's the location? And she gave me the details. Pre-sat nav days, so no kind of phones or
Yeah.
gabblings or anything. And I was like, okay, yeah, anybody know where it is? So one of the crew, I think, or somebody there went, oh yeah, you take this A road, and then got brief directions. And I went, right, fine. I just got there. And then looked around, drove around a bit, and went, oh, BBC crew, brilliant. Yeah, there they are. And that was it. So, which was weird because it came out on Granada, and that really threw me.
Yeah.
So I was watching Granada crew, and it's like BBC crew, but it came out on Granada with Granada logo. It was like, so the BBC made it for Granada. I found that weird. That happened a couple of times where you're shooting a production and it's being made by one company, but it comes out on another company's logo, and I found that odd, but it happens.
Yeah.
Only When I Laugh, I did an episode of that, and obviously, that was shot by a different company to the one that shows it. Yeah. But Mandy Donahue was on it, and
yeah.
Drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
All the crew were like, "Oh my god, how can a girl be that pretty?" Every member of the crew were just like tongues on the floor, and I was there like, stunning, really, really beautiful. Amazing in real life. Superb.
And then you've mentioned John Gielgud in Summer's Lease.
Yes.
But also Leslie Phillips. Again, just like the people you've worked with, it's just like,
I know, great agents. It's all down to really good agents. It's thanks to Miss Barbara Speake, because if she hadn't started the Barbara Speake Stage School, I wouldn't have gone there because it wouldn't have existed. If June Collins, Phil Collins' mum, hadn't been the agent, and she was superb. I mean, she's probably, like, in my view, probably the finest agent in the country back then. Yeah. She worked her ass off really, really hard for all of the kids and just put us out on jobs. So that gave us the experience and the confidence to kind of know the industry from a young age. And then, I was very pedantic at being able to kind of hear a line 3 times and I'd know it. So I worked on a little Large show, and Eddie Large was forgetting his lines, and the script girl had gone to the loo, and the director was pulling his hair out because we needed to shoot the scene because we were behind and what have you. So I said, it's easy. Sid says this, Eddie says that, Sid says this, Eddie said, I just said the lines. And everybody's looking at me going, he's only heard it 3 times, he knows the whole thing. And I was very good at the repetitive thing, eye lines. So like if I've got a person there saying something and I've got to look and then react, and then that line, but then they're not there, but they're shooting us reacting to it, I can go like, okay, I know the dialogue, so It was a stage sequence. We've got 2 actors on stage. They shoot the audience, as we were. I was in, I think, 3rd row back from the front. So the 2 main artists are on stage. Cameras are here. They're shooting us. They're saying their dialogue. We're laughing to it. It's a comedy thing. They switch it round, and the camera's on stage now, just getting audience reaction. So I knew what they said. So I knew he said this, and then she says that. So I just played it back. So every single take was spot on, perfect. So after 4 takes were, reset for whatever reason, cameraman stared at me. Oh, why's the cameraman staring at me? So he gets behind, he says, I want to do another one. We get halfway through, cut, start again. So we do it, cut, start again. What the hell? 15 takes in, kept staring at me like this. He's staring intensely. The extra next to me is like, why does the cameraman keep staring at you? I don't know. What are you doing wrong? Nothing that I'm aware of. Well, you must be, because this is taking forever. We're going to be all day at this, right? So the other actor that's supporting artist on this thing there is like, you've got to be doing something wrong. Trust me, I'm not. So we do another one and another one and another one. Then he calls the director over. They have a conversation. Cameraman steps away. Director sits behind camera. Says go, and action. So we do it. Cut and reset and action. Cut. So we do 10 of them. And then they have a conversation. They're both staring at me. You've got to be doing something wrong. This is taking forever. Stop doing whatever you're doing. Trust me, I'm not. Director calls the girl over, the script writer, script prompter rather. And then she talks to another one, which is the production manager. So she came over and said, it's Keith, isn't it? Yes. Could you come with me, please? Director would like a word with you. So it's like, see, told you you're doing something wrong. Fine. So I said, what's this about? He'll explain in a minute. Okay, so we go up. I'm on stage. We're in the wings now. Cameraman's there. Director's there. So he looks at me. He said, cameraman brought something to my attention. I didn't believe him. Got behind camera. Every single time I've done a take, your reactions, your eye line, everything, it's perfect. Oh, thank you. No, I mean, it's flawlessly perfect. I've never seen this ever happen before. How the hell do you do it? Well, I knew the dialogue, didn't I? So I remembered the lines. So I knew that I'd laugh there and I smile there and then I look back and I look there. Oh my God. Well, it's incredible. I'm so impressed. Where did you train? Barbara Speaks Stage School, East Acton. But actually, this is something I developed myself. I wasn't taught it at the school. Well, I'm that impressed. I'm upgrading you. I'm giving you a speaking part in the production. Oh my God, really? So, yeah, great. So I said, my agent would be pleased. That's more money. So phoned them up. And like, oh my God, well done. But yeah, that was a lovely compliment to get.
Brilliant. Oh, yeah. Love that. And then the last thing that I've got you down as acting in was an episode of The Chief.
Oh, yeah. 1992.
Yeah, around about, yeah. Tim Pigott-Smith and Ross Kemp was in it as well. But there's then you've mentioned about IMDb, and I like I've already said, it's not the most reliable source of information.
No,
I'm assuming you carried on acting after that.
Yeah, I did move up to North Wales. Right. Obviously, I lived in London, so I'm right on top of all the main studios, not far to get to Pinewood, etc. Eventually, Mum and Dad go like, "Oh, we're moving to Wales." We used to come up here on holiday, week first time, couple of weeks, years in, 2 weeks. Then we stretched it to like a month. Then we did 6 weeks up here, 3 months in London, 6 weeks up here, 3 months in London. We're backwards and forwards all the time. So they said, we're moving to Wales. You don't want to stay in London, or do you want to come with you? So I went, I like Wales, and girls talk to you in Wales. Like total strangers, completely, you don't know these girls. You're walking through Porthmadog High Street and they smile at you. And I was like, my God, girls up here smile at you. My Welsh friends, they're like, oh yeah, they're really friendly up here. That sounds good. So I moved up, and all these girls going, oh my God, you're an actor. And it was like, I was a big star or something. They treated me like, and I'm like, it's just a job to me. I didn't think it was anything special. But, oh my God, you've been in Doctor Who. And I went, yeah. So yeah, that was fun. And yeah, I liked it up here. I liked the whole place. But obviously, studio wise, we had two. I went to Carnarvon. I walked in. It was, Boridas, Keith Macey do it, actor do it, Cymru byw a gweithio Llundain. So she rattles off Welsh quick, and I'm like, oh crap, what was that word? I was learning it. I wasn't fluent, I could speak quite a bit, but there was big gaps. So I was like, shall I test me, please? So she glares at me. Oh, what's wrong with saying, could you speak English, please, in Welsh? So it's like, so you don't speak Welsh fluently then? I said, well, I'm kind of learning it, because Daddy was Welsh, Mum was English. We basically used English all the time indoors. I kind of was curious about it, so I was learning it. Well, they speak Welsh on the set, and it's technical Welsh, and you wouldn't understand. Bear in mind, this is early 90s.
Wow.
Very, very anti-English in Carnarvon area. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. I mean, I've worked with the biggest names in the industry, director-wise and actors. I've got a full equity card. I went to one of London's top stage schools. Phil Collins' mum is my agent, and all you care about is whether I speak your language fluently. Well, I swore it in Welsh, told her what I thought of the studio in Welsh, and then walked out. Went to another one. They were nice, sir, but not very. And I was like, fine. 2 days later, I get a phone call from some weird guy I'd never heard of before that said, would you work for me? And I went, well, it depends what the job is and who the hell are you? Turned out it was a security company. So I started working for him, got promoted to a sergeant, did a lot of really exciting and dangerous jobs on that. Enjoyed it, but missed the TV and film industry like mad. Yeah. Really did. I mean, it's I wouldn't say I love doing it. I'd say I adore doing it. From a child, it was just amazing. It was magical. It was incredible. It was all these people you work with, the crews of a dream. Everybody in the industry is just so nice. It's just a beautiful place to work and the environment to work. So yeah, I adore doing it. And I missed it. And occasionally I get a security job looking after a film set or our location or something. You see the cameras and I just want to do this. So then I thought, right, I'll start up my own little production company, KRM Video Productions. So I did that. Shot a few things, and it was kind of, very low level kind of in comparison with BBC and Pinewood and everything, but it was still being involved in the industry.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I could go on the technical side. I'm really good at research. I think outside the box. I've got a very logical brain. I'm seriously good at that. So I did some research for producers. They get in touch and say, we've got a problem. I've had a team of 6 people working on this for 3 weeks and they can't get it. And I know you won't be able to help, but somebody put your name forward and it's a long shot. And I quite understand you probably won't be able to do it. I'd spend 24 hours researching something. I'd phone her back the next day. Hi, Katie. Yeah, it's Keith. I've got everything you need. And she, what? I went, yeah, everything you need. You gave me very little information, but I got the whole thing you want. You couldn't have done that. I know you said 3, they've been working at 3 weeks. Yeah, well, that's where. So I'm very, very good at doing that side of things. So I did researcher, production consultant for Top Gear. I've worked on that. Technical advisor for Car SOS. I did, an episode of that for them. So I was working away in the background on things. And then more recently, in fairness, I did acting. I wasn't going to, but that had to happen. My first AD went, you're a professional actor, you do the scene. I'm like, oh, really? I've already got 3 credits. I don't want 4. No, we've got to get this shot. Fine. So reluctantly, I had a little part in the movie. But basically, I wrote it, produced it, and directed it. So that's called The Devil Rises, it's a little horror movie that we're putting together, independent film, with Paul Flannery in, no less, and Denise Waterman, an ex-girl, and obviously, member of this pop group Tight Fit.
She was in Tight Fit, yeah.
And Pete Waterman's wife.
She actually follows the podcast. She's one of the first people who ever followed the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, I'll have to say hi, Denise. Yes, you include this a little bit. Yeah, lovely working with you. I hope 2 against it.
Brilliant.
But yeah.
Are you still in touch with anyone that you were on Grange Hill with then?
Yeah, Robert Craig Morgan and me are still close friends. I message Robert from time to time, or occasionally gets in touch with me or likes a post on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Vice versa. I haven't spoken to Paul for a little bit, but we're still kind of in touch basically. Sarah Sugarman, obviously I absolutely adore Sarah with a passion. I mean, she was so kind and supportive to me when my mum had 2 heart attacks and I thought she was going to die when I was about 14. Everybody at Barbara Speaks are lovely. We all say, I'm sorry about your mum and everything else. Obviously, when you're that young and you think you're going to lose your mum, it hits you very, very, very hard. So, I was in a very low place and a very dark place at that time. Sarah, every day in school, noticed this and made a point of every lunchtime, morning play and the big break. She'd come over, she'd be next to me, with me, chatting to me, trying to keep my mind off of it. I never forgot how kind, wonderfully kind Sarah was for doing that. So I love and adore that girl with all of my heart, and I always will.
Yeah.
We lost touch for a while, like I did with a lot of them from Speaks. We moved and internet wasn't around and what have you. So Friends Reunited had a Barbara Speaks page. When I got into the internet, I managed to get on there and I connected with a few. Then that got closed down because Thames TV, I think, bought it, and then somebody else did something with it and it shut down. So then I lost contact with everyone. And then a friend of mine went, oh, there's a thing called Facebook. Is there? Oh, right. How does this work? So he set up the profile page and put the weird picture of me that isn't me as my original picture on there. That's from the film Men in Black, which I suppose is because it's an acting thing. But it's basically not me. But he went, you always wear a suit. You've always got dark sunglasses on. It looks like you. That's why you. So that's up there. But then through the Facebook group, obviously for Barbara Speaks, we've got the TV and Film Archive and the private group, as it were.
Yeah,
I went on there, joined that, and then it was like, oh my God, so-and-so's on, and this one's on. So I started reconnecting. Leslie Cowling, obviously worked under the station name of the Asher, part of Boy George's Culture Club. I mean, it was lovely getting back in touch with her a few years ago, because I remember her being at school, leaving because she was a little bit older, seeing her in normal clothing, walking through the corridor. What are you doing back? Oh, I'm working in the office with June and Miss Speak. Oh, great. And she was such a lovely girl back then. She's a wonderful, kind-hearted lady and everything. Obviously, sadly, we lost her a couple of months ago now. But no, I was devastated and cried for a week. Kept replaying the video of her. I remember it coming out, Song for Europe, and she sings a song by Lindsay Moore called Where Are You Now? And I saw it live with Mum and Dad in the lounge. Back in the day. And it was like, oh my God, she's one of the Speaks girls. Really? They're both? Yeah. I was so thrilled for her, so proud of her. The performance is just stunning. Her voice is awesome. So I always loved that, and eventually managed to get an archive copy of it I could keep for myself. And the amount of times I've played that over the years is unreal.
Yeah.
So yeah, and she was going to be in my movie, but she couldn't do the part in this film that I'm shooting. So I said, right, I've got another 3 films working on script on a major horror film. I've got another one that I came up with 3 days ago, and I went, oh, that's a good title, and yeah, that's an idea for a film. So I'm currently writing a book on that and a screenplay.
Yeah.
I said to her, the next movie I make, I want you in it. And she was like, yeah, I'd love to, and it's like, great. So we kind of agreed that. And obviously, it's suddenly not going to happen now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite a few of them. Beverly Braben, I talked to her. I remember Naomi Campbell joining the school. I'm late going into school, as always. So I walk in, and Miss Speak goes, Keith. I'm like, oh, here we go. You should be here at 9. It's 10 o'clock. Yeah. So I went, yes, Miss Speak. So she went, could you come here, please? I'm going to get named for that. So I get there, and it's like, this is Naomi. Oh, hello. She's sitting there staring at the floor, really shy. So she said, could you show her around the school and then eventually take her to the class? Okay, fine. So I do all this. She's not saying a great deal, very, very shy little girl. And we get to the door, and she says to me, do you think I'll get much work? That's a weird thing to say, but why would you ask that? Bearing in mind, this is 1975. We have a few children at the school that aren't white English. Not a lot. There weren't a lot of children from other ethnic backgrounds that were coming to the school. Because parents, I suppose, weren't putting them forward for it. And when you look at adult actors, there are very, very few of those in the industry in the 70s. Just people didn't do it for some reason. So anyway, she said, well, it's because I'm a black kid and you don't see many black actors on television. No, you don't, but we got Donald Wall. And Donald's done quite a few things for the BBC already. I said, we've got Larry Mark. He's been in CFF films and starring roles in CFF films. And Larry's a lovely guy. We're best mates. I said, of course you'll get work. Oh, all right, thank you. And he says, you probably won't believe this. I know it's a fact because I remember it distinctly, the conversation, the whole thing, I play it out like a video. I looked at her and I said, and one day you'll be very, very famous. And when you are, don't forget who your friends are. She looked at me and went, I won't. And as soon as she said it, I thought, yeah, you will. And she gets into the class. Now, obviously, she was at Speaks until I think she was 14 or 15. Then she got this talent scout spotter, and then I think Sylvia Youngs, I think. And obviously became supermodel and super famous. I'm thinking, wow, I was the one that showed you around school. I was when you first met at Barbara Speaks. Have you ever got in touch with me and gone, hi, Keith? I got in touch with people and said, I'd like to interview Naomi. We're at school together. And I go, oh, well, if you can pay £10,000 for half an hour interview, then fine.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, sorry, I'm not paying you 10 grand. I think she's got plenty more money than I do at the moment. No, Wow. I mean, if that had been me in that position, ultra famous, really wealthy, I'd have gone like, school friend, fuck. Not that I am not going to charge them. Of course, I'll do it for you. It just Speaks, kid. You help each other. It's
loyalty. She turned up in Grange Hill as well. She was a supporting artist on Grange Hill. Early 80s. She was there. Like, so you've said about the fact that you are writing and directing and still doing movies, but from conversations we've had and even tonight, you've got another job.
Yeah.
Well, so
obviously, I have what I call my pays the bills job, because obviously TV and film is awesome. When you're earning the money, it's great.
Yeah.
But then there's periods of time where it's like, oh, I haven't been paid this week, or I haven't got anything this week, or this month, or 6 months. I think I recall a time where there was 6 months with no industry stuff, and I was just like, this isn't good. So I have a job that I currently do, which is working at a hotel. So night manager, maintenance, pot washing, basically housekeeping. I jump on every department there, because the general manager years ago when I started there went, do you fancy learning all different departments? It'd be useful for me. And I went, yeah, it keeps my job and it's good for me. I can come in and it's variety. I'm not getting bored. So I've been with that company 19 years, something like that. I was there for 3, left and went to a 5-star establishment, which was awesome. And again, that was like a holiday park, so caravans and lodges, but it was like voted the best park in Europe. So it gives you an idea how high end it was.
Wow.
You had Carl Fogarty was there, the sports rider. You had people from Coronation Street. There's, a lot of the actors were there, and crew and cast from different productions. The owner of EE had a place there. So yeah, it was high end, a lot of money, and really lovely people generally.
Yeah.
So I worked there for 3 years, and then the hotel phoned up and went, "We need you back," and begging me to go. So I went, "Yeah, it'll be fine." And I've been there ever since. And the owner of the hotel is just old-fashioned boss. You do anything, he comes and finds you and personally says, "Thank you very much. Excellent job always," etc. So I'm very happy there. My plan is, if it all goes to plan, obviously get this film that I'm shooting at the moment finished and out there. I then need a producer somewhere to go, "Yes, we'll give you the money." I'm probably looking at around anywhere between minimum of $10 million US and $30 million US to make a very big feature film, because I have a very high-end cast of A-listers that I want to put in it. Okay. I've already spoken to one very well-known actor who said, "Yeah, I'd love to be in it." So his name's potentially attached to it, in as much as if I get the money. And then, in theory, realistically speaking, that could make 180 million at the box office when it comes out. So I could buy the hotel off of him, which is my plan, and then improve it vastly. And that would be great.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And that bring in more money as well, and I can keep on churning out more productions.
Brilliant. Well, I hope that all works out for you. I really, really do. So, we are coming towards the end of the interview, Keith. Now, I've got the same few questions that I always ask everyone at the end.
That's fine.
The end of the interview, and they're all Grange Hill related. So,
all right, okay, I'll see how I do.
Don't worry, it's not a quiz, it's not a test. Don't worry, don't worry. So, over the last couple of years or so, there's been talk in the press of a Grange Hill movie in the works.
Yes.
What do you think of the idea of a Grange Hill movie?
I think it's awesome. Obviously, I wasn't one of the big main featured artists in the production, but I've always been super, super, super proud of being connected to that production. On the grand scheme of things, my contribution is a very small bit, but it's Grange Hill. It's iconic. As a kid, I absolutely adored it. It wasn't just, I work in the industry, it's just another production. It was like, oh my God, it's Grange Hill. It was iconic, like Doctor Who is iconic. I still get Doctor Who fans writing to me and going, "Can I please have your autograph?" And I'm like, "I was in 2 episodes." It was like, really? Wow. So, and I get Grange Hill fans writing to me going, "Please, could you sign this?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, really? This is such an honor. I would love to," and I send them off to them. And it's wonderful. I adore Grange Hill fans and I adore Doctor Who fans for that reason. I've done a lot of productions, but So obviously I'd heard that Sarah was going to put her name up for directing it. Apparently she said yes. So I messaged Sarah and said, "Congratulations, honey. Really pleased for you. Hope you get it. Don't forget, I was in it too. Didn't have a major part in it, to be fair, in that I wasn't a major character. But I don't care if I'm an extra standing on a street corner in the background and you go, oh, look, I know that's me, but nobody else does.
Yeah.
If it comes off, I have to be in this. I'm walking by in the background. It's a blur. Blink and you miss me. I don't care. I've got to be part of doing this. I don't want anything big.
Yeah.
And she says, when the time comes, I'll let you know. Awesome. And it's just been going on and on. I don't know whether it's a funding issue and
I would imagine. Yeah. I would imagine that's possibly it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the fans out there would love it. To get like Todd and some of the sort of main characters that were in it back in on the production, and I'm pretty convinced if they should at least be very proud and want to do it, because it was a big chunk of their childhood and realistically what made them who they are. I think it's fair to say, yes, Todd was a good actor as a child, but Grange Hill really kind of put him on the map. So you think there'd be a loyalty to that production, that program, that franchise, and would be one part of it. And everybody else, was big parts in it. Me, as somebody very small in it, I'm super proud of it. I think it was an awesome production. I didn't think all these years on it would still be in the hearts of people like it is, and I'm so touched by that. The fans still adore it and love it. because, like I say, it's very special to me. Full Circle is very special to me. Doctor Who is, Python is. I have some personal productions that I'm super, super thrilled, proud, and honoured to have been a part of, and very humbled by being a part of. Grange Hill is definitely one of those, you know. So
yeah,
you know, if they do it, I think it would be great. I certainly 100% behind it, and think it would be a good idea. So yeah. And if I can put any money, if my film makes money, I'll finance a bloody thing. Because you know, I definitely want Sarah working on it. Chance to get to work with her on that would be awesome. So yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so you've said how much you love Grange Hill. So other than Gregson's gang member, who's your favourite character in Grange Hill?
At stage school as an 11-year-old, I had a major crush on Lindy Brill. I'm embarrassed, seriously embarrassed by it now, but I did. I just looked at her and thought, oh my God, she's beautiful. She had the Cleopatra hairstyle like Elizabeth Taylor in that film, and it was just like, and she was so talented, sing, dance, act, play musical instruments, you know, good at acting, and I was just like in awe of her, to be fair. So I admired her from all those aspects, and she was seriously pretty. So yeah, I like Lindy. Now just professionally rather than kind of like, I'm an 11-year-old and my little heart melts every time I see her. Needless to say, she had no interest in me at all. Can't blame her, but there you go. Obviously, you know, there's lots of characters in it I love. Justine was awesome. Robert's performance is great. Robert's a lovely lad. I adore him to bits. So yeah, obviously I'm going to say Robert. Neil Rogers, Robbo, again. Neil's in my movie. I got in touch with Neil and said, I'm making a film. Do you want to be in it? And he went, oh yeah, I'd love to. And it was awesome working with him and seeing him again, because we hadn't seen each other for a few years. Obviously he was great. Benny was just lovely. You know, his daddy worked with my dad, because his dad worked for Royal Mail, and my dad was his governor in Royal Mail.
Oh, right. Okay.
Believe it or not. I remember Dad coming home going, you never guess what? One of the lads in work was telling me his son's working on Grange Hill tomorrow. And I said, my son's working on Grange Hill tomorrow. Really? Who is he? And he said, Terry Supat. Oh my God, yeah, I do. So, you know, we on the set, my dad works with your dad. And it was like, oh, really? And he was lovely. You know, really nice. George Armstrong was really, really nice as well. You know, we got on well. I remember Benny wanted to play football, and George was like, oh, really? Again? Oh, come on, let's go and play. It was me, George, Tucker, Todd. And it was like... So it's just like, I'm not really into football. I'm not that good at it. So George says, well, look at me. He said, I'm massive. I'm overweight. I'm going to play then. He said, I'm going to have to. So I went, yeah, go on then. So we went, on the school location, and they're filming inside somewhere, and we were out of the way and it was quiet. So, we had a game of football together. But, Benny was lovely. Husey, obviously Donegal. We're best friends at Barbara Speaks. So, again... Paul McCarthy. We used to travel to school in the mornings when I was on time. Very rarely. We'd always come home together. You know, it'd be Lynn, Paul, Janet Huxtable, Chris Huxtable, Leslie Adams, me, and we'd be on the train. And I got like a Friday coming home, and everybody's had a week in work, and they're all and we'd get up, we'd do a tap dance routine down the carriage to entertain people. Or another day we might be like, let's start doing a sing and dance routine. So we're singing and we're getting everybody to join in the underground carriage. Or it'd be like, pass a Coke can. We'd always be performing and doing something, just to cheer up the passengers on the train. It was lovely. But there's, in fairness, there's quite a lot of characters in Grange Hill. I can't really kind of leave too many people out, because it's like, well, this one was a damn good actor as a kid, and the character was brilliant, and and working with them, they were lovely. So that's a few of them. Robert, Craig Morgan, obviously Neil, Paul, Lindy. I could go on. Sarah, obviously Sarah as Jessica Samuels, and Sarah's performance is awesome.
Was there a character where you thought, I'd have loved to have played that part?
I suppose I'm going to have to say Tucker, because it was the iconic one, because all these girls fancied him, and I would have been like, if that was me, I might have had 3 girls fancy me. But
brilliant.
I think I've got pictures of me when I was younger that proves I look good.
Okay, so the final question then, Keith, is Why do you think there is still such affection for Grange Hill?
I'm going to say because anything that happens that's a positive thing in your childhood, I think kind of sticks with you. Like I say, for me, starting acting as a child, it wasn't something that I liked or I loved. I absolutely adore it, and I still have that. You walk on set like with my crew, we all got together. Oh my God, I'm with a film crew, and then the actors come, and wow, fellow actors. That thrill, that excitement, it never got old. It never got stale. It was never kind of, oh God, I've got to go on film today. It's still there. So I can think of a few iconic moments in my childhood that mean as much to me now in my 60s. Still can't believe I'm that age. Up here, I still feel 20. Still look back to the days of thinking, oh yeah, I fancied that girl at Barbara Speaks and I fancied that girl at Barbara Speaks. Still feel that age. So yeah, I think any of those moments, and like I say, Grange Hill was such an iconic first kind of groundbreaking series of its type. Other ones were there were kids in it and there were adults in it, and they were kind of even, really. Sometimes some of the programs would be the adults are the main thing and the kids are secondary. Grange Hill was all about the kids for kids. Phil Redmond wrote superb scripts and great storylines. Kids could relate to it, and so I think that's why it kind of is still popular. I'm surprised it's still popular because I didn't think when we were making it, I never thought, in 20, 30, 40 years time, this is going to be so iconic. And everybody, you don't realize that when you're making these productions ever, to be fair. It doesn't matter what one I've worked on. Doctor Who was already out there and a big deal. So when I did that in 89, it was, oh my God, I'm on Doctor Who. Sophie Aldred said to me, I can't believe I've got this part in Doctor Who. I grew up watching it. This is like so surreal. And I went, I know, I grew up watching it from the black and white, trout days. I'm on it. I can remember being a kid going, oh, I'd love to be in this series. But you never saw children in Doctor Who in the black and white ones, realistically, very rarely. So I thought, chance of me being on that is 1,000,000 to 1. And I'm not an actor. And I don't know, you become an actor or be in TV. And I'm young, like 5 or something watching it. So to be like, my agent phoned up, you're working on Doctor Who. Doctor Who as in BBC Doctor Who? Well, like as in like Tom Baker Doctor Who? Oh my God! It was just iconic.
Brilliant.
So Grange Hill is like that to me. It's just like I'm in this series.
Brilliant. Well, Keith, thank you so much.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, Neil.
Coming on.
Thank you so much for asking me.
No, not at all. Especially, I'm going to say this. You've just come off a 19-hour shift as well. So thank you so much for coming on and doing that after that. Like, I know we've tried to get this on a few times now, but so thank you so much for coming on. I have absolutely loved talking to you. I don't know if you could tell, but I didn't stop smiling all of through that. Like,
I think I made you laugh a couple of times.
Yeah, my cheeks got quite sore there. I'll be honest. No, honestly, I've loved it. Honestly, loved it.
Thank you. Likewise.
It's been great. So thank you once again for coming on. It's been brilliant. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, and an honour and a privilege and a pleasure. It's to be part of Sausage on a Fork is like Grange Hill again, isn't it? It's just like. You got Grange Hill, you got Sausage on a Fork. It's like, how can you compare?
Thank you. That really means a lot. Thank you so much for that. Like, but no, it has. It's been brilliant. And to anyone that's listening, I'll speak to you next time. Cheers. Thanks. Bye bye.